Sure, you're noticing that the more Colossi we slay, the more we can hear Mano's voice in sort of an afterlife tunnel sort of deal. And we are also gaining more and more shadowy figures observing us when we return to the shrine. And much like the Colossi themselves, they have various heights and body builds. Thy next foe is a ruin hidden in the lake. A ripple of thunder lurks underwater. Look at that stamina bar. Alright, on to the next one. Now you can well notice Quadratus down there. Well, what remains of him. Oh, wrong button. Something I really like about the Forbidden Lands here. Canonically, it's a giant peninsula that's off the coast of, I don't know, some continent. I'm sure it's not related to reality, and it's its completely own world map. Doubt we'd ever see such a thing in regards to this universe, but it's for being that, it's surprisingly varied in all of its environmental biomes that it's got going. Like, a little bit ago, we just saw a nice thick forest, and here we are over in a dry, sandy, arid desert. And it's not even like a high desert like we have up here in Oregon, where it's dirty and kind of an old west, but a little wetter than that. So not quite, but it's still got tons of vegetation. But yeah, no, this is a straight up arid plain like I could see in I guess the Sahara or Mongolian desert. I was hoping we'd see one this time, but I don't know their locations. I'd have to assume they're in here, but in these desert areas, in some spots, there's actually little tortoises that you can find. Just little bits of rare wildlife here and there. If I see one, I'll definitely go out my way to put it on video. And like most wildlife, I'm pretty sure that they're unkillable because they instantly retract into their shells if you try to slash or shoot them. Safe shrine. Now this place, notice how these obelisks match the ones that are by the forest that I was pointing out earlier. Well, almost match. I think the stonework's a little bit different, and some of the midpoints on it don't quite match, but more or less they're the same. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I think they're definitely the same. Just a little bit different stonework. But you have this wall, and beyond it, the entrance through is a little archway. Ekro, you just ruined that intro. I did not call you. You have this quite long, well, medium distance walkway that used to connect to what we could, I can describe as like a corkscrew staircase sort of deal. And my personal belief is that when this was built and functional, and I have a feeling this one might have been started in the middle of the lake. Hell, this might have been a whole bridge going from one side to the other. Notice that there's more obelisk on the other side and another wall, leading me to believe that this was like a sort of a religious center, and that you could enter from either side. Notice that piece of a bridge in the water was probably what led to that other wall. And here on this corkscrew, quote unquote, you have these little ledges that obviously never connected to anything, and you would go all the way up, taking some sort of pilgrimage, and potentially having some sort of ceremony here. Notice that there is another piece of a broken bridge over there as well. I think that potentially actors in this would meet in both sides and exchange something, or have their sort of ritual, as it were, with it. But we're not here for that ceremony. We're here for Hydrus, the 7th Colossi. Unlike Avion's Lake, it's a bit more clear here. You can actually see more towards the bottom with these large obelisks and whatnot. And as well as aquatic plant life. We gotta get this thing's attention. Thankfully it's not too hard, we just need to be in an open enough space for it to see me. And there it is, turning red. Maybe with all the extra stamina I can do this in one go this time, but hey, fingers crossed. No promises. I love this thing's design. Long, sort of a catfish electric eel, which of course electric eels are catfish. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. They're just long and sinewy, so we call them eels. Okay, basic goal. Run up, get the next part. hold on for dear life, and then rinse repeat till we get to the lightning. Going back to ceremonies and ritual significance, I wondered if the Hydra is some sort of a connection to that, being that it's obviously lightning and thunder based. Makes me wonder if potentially this location was rituals to court and quote unquote summon rain. And obviously storms along with it. Perhaps this place was also used as like some sort of a cistern where people could pump water out of it one way or another, and give the local populations here life and drinking water, in addition to things to water their crops with. Which could have been another potential use of the architecture, though I find that a little harder to digest given that those obelisks do not seem to have any practical function. Okay, nope, not doing this in one go. No problem. Won't be long before it's angry again. And again, I'm just a big sucker when it comes to sea monsters. Like, I love seeing just these enormous swimming leviathans that just make you feel so much more insignificant than, well, in general, anyhow. Just these creatures that are completely in their environment and you are not in yours. I mean, hell, even the mosasaur from Jurassic World, even though that movie is terrible, and the scene that's associated with it in particular is also terrible and much more horrifying than it should be for a fucking Jurassic Park movie. It's a really cool creature and I enjoy seeing it. This thing, it just mixes eels, catfish, maybe oarfish a little bit, dragonfish with its bioluminescence, and also with its face and its whiskers and its scaly hide. I also think of like sturgeon. Though the fur, I guess that's a hairy trout. That one wasn't serious. Hairy trout are urban legend style cryptid that has no real basis in reality. Well, maybe they might. Maybe some sort of parasitic infection or fungal infection on fish. But for the most part, yeah, no. That one's not believable. Oh boy. Ow. And that's all it's lightning. Time for the head. If we wanted to go back to biblical references, what with Dorman, Nimrod, etc., I guess you could say this is potentially Leviathan, though I think it's a bit too vague to go diving into that. Har har. Love this thing. Sorry. Now, much like Avion, when you see it die, it sinks into the bottom of the lake or whatever the hell this is, and that. But if you were to come back here and find its corpse for reminisce mode, it would be quote-unquote floating on top of the surface like it's formed an island, which I think is really neat, both very clever for gameplay standards, from a gameplay standpoint, as well as a thematic and visual one. Through the black hole. I love nice attention to detail and all the way these statues break. Thy next foe is a tail trapped within a pail, deep within the forest. A shadow that crawls on the walls. As I was saying with the detail and the way these statues break is that the majority of their bodies is destroyed, but their faces are more or less, at least in comparison to the rest of it, intact. And I personally like to think that is symbolic of not only you taking them down, quote-unquote, to your level, but them sinking down to stare at you for what you've done. Because before, their heads and eyes are way above you, but now that they are on the floor, that they can more directly stare at you. And you can stare back at them. Something I brought up in the last session, but failed to elaborate on, was I was not entirely sure if I should read Dorman's text and all the characters' dialogue, because it's a made-up language specifically for this series of games. But I figured, you know what? I, millennial, very much of the opinion that it's completely fine to run a YouTube video in a separate tab while you do other things and listen to it almost like it's a podcast rather than watching the video 100%. For the most part, I try to also watch the video, but if I'm what I like to do is I will put a video I've already watched on in the background, because I just love having background noise. I don't like it being too quiet. And it's surprisingly a common thing. And until I heard some of the videos I was watching actually bring that up, I was kind of surprised. I thought I was just being odd about it, turning on a video and not actually watching it, just listening to it. But no, that's normal. You're normal. I'm normal. Well, okay, I'm normal enough to pass when I need it. I think that's important. Speaking before on the remaster, Bluepoint did for PS3 of this game, where it was literally the same game, just retooled a bit, and in the sense that for it to run on PlayStation 3 rather than PS2, and that it just repainted textures, etc., etc. But this game here in particular, their full-on remake, is actually quite interesting in how it handles it. It's actually running the original game's engine from the PS2 in tandem with the Bluepoint's engine. So the Team Eco's engine is handling all the animation, all the AI, all the other calculations and stuff that it normally would do, and the Bluepoint engine is handling the graphics, and as well as various little tweaks, such as they untied the frame rate from some of the game logic. Oh, sorry. In that the PS3 version, I personally didn't find it much of a big hassle, but in the PS2 and PS3 versions, your grip was tied to frame rate, so when Colossi shook around, if the frame rate was too high, you'd start losing a little bit more stamina than you would on the PS2, where the game struggled to run perfectly the vast majority of the time, generally dropping well below 30 frames per second, which the PS3 remaster was consistently running. And a lot of people complained about that because it made it a little bit harder than the PS2 original for that reason. And I personally think it's just another one of those things that the internet blew out of proportion. Because I played through that PS3 version at least twice and didn't really notice the issue until I was reading up on what the hell the deal was with people's complaints. On this way to next Colossi, I appreciate that it's like this big, giant, sprawling, like, I don't know, cave system inside this huge, sort of secluded valley thing. It reminds me of like Thailand and Laos, where they have these whole enormous, like, underground, quote-unquote, ecosystems with like jungle and unique fauna and everything that are, at least when I was reading the article, like at least 5-7 years ago at this point, was mostly unexplored. They're basically calling it a lost world. Like, it was known, it's just that no one's really spent the time to do a whole bunch of expeditions or anything in there to catalog everything. And that kind of thing is always pretty neat. Another example of wildlife here. Hopefully we can get a little closer to see. There's like large catfish-like fish in many of these waters. And you can grab onto them. Let's get a nice good look at them. Yep, that's a catfish. They're really, at first I thought they were like weirdly eels or giant tadpoles or something given their general shape, but no, these are definitely catfish. They got their barbel whiskers right there and everything. Funny thing about this game too is that in the stats they have all these various little listings. This was not in either the PS2 or PS3 version. This is the wholly Bluepoint edition, but see, time riding fish, time riding hawks, highest survived fall, time spent resisting the light, times died, arrows fired, etc., etc. Just a fun little stat tracker. No real practical purpose, but it's cool that it's there. This is the temple cave Colosseum for Colossi number 9. I mean, number 8, rather. Sorry. The aesthetic of the exterior reminds me of like Japanese and East Asian temples. They've got sort of a pagoda style thing going on, but the way it's actually built is wholly different. Like, generally, pagodas and Buddhist temples aren't made out of stone, and their roofs are lapped, and all that is completely different. Like, sort of a convergent evolution thing where two similar things done two completely different ways. It's sort of, as I was speaking to earlier, the hybridization of cultures, though none specifically from real life. And here you got these columns that feel decidedly, at least in shape, Roman or Italian. And this here, this is another special Blue Point edition. They're little coins that there's like 60, 70 of them. It's the first time collecting any of them, first time I've seen it, but you collect all of those and you unlock a special sword built just for this, made just for this game. Maybe I'll do that eventually, but I'm not gonna try to do it in this playthrough. I don't want to spend terribly long in it. I have other plans and games to play, but as I was trying to say, and before I got sidetracked, is that these are decidedly Roman or Italian, etc., Renaissance, or even Greek columns all kind of hybridized into one, but they're inscribed with sort of like South American designs, or at least inspired designs. Notice that these giant braziers are lit, meaning either someone's been here, or more likely that these fires are mystical and probably do not go out. Given this is very clearly a world with some form of magic in it, that's always how I interpret it when I actually went about thinking about it. Colossi 8. Kuromori. The shadow that creeps along the walls. Now, when I popped the trophy, it specifically called this place a Colosseum. And I always wondered that myself. I don't know, quote unquote, how canon you can call that one. Given it's just a trophy name. How much stock do you want to put into it? It could go either way for me personally. But if this place was a Colosseum, it makes you wonder, was there actual ritual or sport-based combat in here that went along in this place, or was it built specifically for Kuromori here? Another one of my personal favorite designs. I mean, they're all strong, but some you like more than others. Now I've been noticed. Now, take a look at his face design there. Maybe let him get a little closer, better angle. Oh, oh. Oh. Roll through that. But kind of like Hydrus, he has powers related to lightning and thunder, and when he fires off his shots there, they end up leaving a lingering cloud of like static electricity or something. That's pretty neat. Oh, did I get a leg? Nope, I don't think so. It's not obvious. His weak points are his big glowing legs, and I was talking about this when I fought him a couple hours ago, that in the Blue Point redesign here, in how his legs are really neat and scaly. Making him look more reptilian than ever. Oh, almost. Almost. There we go. Oh, God. Let's hope that doesn't kill me. Ah, close enough. Oh. This is not a very clean run. In order to expose his sigils, we had to knock him down. And the longer he knocked down longer based on how far he falls. So if you can get him doing it from the top, you get plenty of time. Okay, well, that's it for that one. But as I was saying, the original PS2 and PS3 releases, his arms were really mostly just a flat texture with the sort of these green glowing markings, as you could see he sort of has now with a similar pattern. But the way that Blue Point's translated it this time, I really appreciate, is that it's really scaly, and that combined with the way his feet are more well detailed, it really brings out the lizard in his design. And of course we have the face, which is feels inspired by Aztec reliefs and grotesqueries that you'd see on their temples, basically like Quetzalcoatl and other plumed serpents and creatures that they adorn their temples with. Kuromori is a really strong design. Big glowing back plates, very Godzilla-esque, and then big ol' sort of fluke tail. It's really interesting. Now we need to heal. Let's crouch, because in this game, for whatever reason, crouching regenerates your life a little bit faster. Monster Hunter's got a similar thing going for if you're bleeding and you crouch, that will heal you after a certain set amount of time. So, not sure if that's ties into some sort of Japanese, like, I don't know, belief or superstition, or just some basic idea I'm not aware of. Or it could just be simple coincidence, because it's easy to do in game animation terms. Come and get me. So, like, I could potentially see this as being used by people before to, like, some sort of combat arena for again, like I said, religious or sports purposes. But it's just that this is such a weird way to see and look at the fight happening down below. that it just seems hardly practical. So it almost feels more like it's more likely that this place was built to contain Kuromori than anything. Get up one more floor and hopefully we can get down there without murdering myself again. Thank God I went and got those fruits and stuff. That probably would have killed me if I didn't. Now where'd you go? Since I don't think I properly explained it before, when you're far enough away from aggro, you whistle instead of call her name. Which plays into gameplay, and that helps you signal to Colossi and get their attention. One leg, two leg. Down we go. Sorry, Kuro. This is also a very bad place to put a sigil. I'm just gonna say that. Yeah, that blood doesn't look great coming out right there. Got a nice little glimpse of it there, but you can see like little carvings of leaves and stuff on it as well. Oh, camera. On his neck plate armor. Get an infusion of